Outpost 14 has some really long upgrade times. It is really important which ones you do first. Hey everyone, Derpy here, welcome back to another Battle Pirates video. Today I'm going to show all the various different upgrade times for my base, which by the way, yes, does have an officer, and talk about what's important, what's not, what you need to do first, and a few really important tips for getting things built and not have to go repair every 36 hours. Now, the first thing that you need to upgrade is pretty clearly your outpost. This takes 21 days and is a really long time, but you definitely need to do that first. I would burn every single token you have in the game on that, and potentially even consider speeding up the last 3 days, because it is going to be repairing for 12 hours every time someone hits you. The other options include buying a bubble from the shop, which I have not done. Some people will get close enough that they do think a 7-day bubble will save them enough repair time, or even the 24-hour ones. I wouldn't buy the 28-day bubble because I probably want to hit 1 or 2 bases this month. Now, a few other things to consider for the outpost is that you do want to make sure you're not being hit all the time, so things like jumping to a random sector really far away and dropping down your metals. I dropped to 370, and I'm going to drop a little bit more just so that people can't come find my base and hit me for metals, because I'll have like 200 of them, so I won't really be worth hitting, except for people who think I'm an easy base, in which case I might just surprise them. So that's the plan for me in getting my outposts done. The same thing for metals would apply to portals when we get there, which will be in a little while. The number 2 thing that you definitely need to upgrade is your dock. This is super important, and if you're wondering, yes, you can still repair ships when your dock is upgrading. It just does take you 14 days with an officer again, so this is a really tough one. You need to start really early. Luckily, this will also make you almost immune to basilisks. Now, your dock only does have a 2-hour repair, so if you want, you can stick it on the far corner of your base, and that should work pretty well, although just keep in mind that you're not going to get the bonuses for keeping it near your outpost, and people might still hit you. In general, dropping metals is not as important for your dock because it's a 2-hour repair as opposed to a 12-hour repair. You need to do this one, though, to increase your max fleet weight so you can use 5 purifiers or even 5 winterfangs when we eventually get there, because we have for every other conqueror hole. The dock is super important. Now, the next thing depends on your stance on PvP, PvE, etc. If you are a PvP player, I'd recommend taking your Saw Factory and upgrading that. Unfortunately, I can't actually show you the stats unless I spend 10 gold to speed it up, which, what the hell, why not? It's for a video. Anyway, the upgrade for the Saw Factory is 12 days, gets you the Lakefire Mine, which should be a really powerful one. It has a pretty large damage over time, 8 million radioactive damage per tick. That's the number to consider when looking at deflections. So you definitely want to get this really quickly if you are a PvP player. The next thing for PvP players would actually be these portals right here, which you're going to want to upgrade fairly early, again, for those PvP players, because that does give you like a bajillion more armor points. No deflection increases, just armor point and power capacity. I bet a large sum of money the Firewall 2.0, Ice Wall 2.0, whatever comes out next, has a power capacity requirement of like 86,000 compared to 85 you're at. So you're going to need to upgrade these things for that next one. Now, this is an absolute massive cost in time, 18 days for 3 portals, and for that reason, a lot of good PvP players are probably going to A, have coined them already, or B, are waiting for an LTO to come out. I plan to not start upgrading any of my portals, and actually, I'm gonna buy the LTO, surprise, which will upgrade those portals all to max instantly, although you might not get that LTO if you've already started one, which is why I wouldn't start them. I know last year we had some people who started one portal and had it partway complete or all the way complete and didn't get the same offer everyone else did, which was a little concerning. Although obviously coining's not for everyone, I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do for buying portal upgrades. Just if you are already planning to buy one, I will wait for the LTO and not start a single portal upgrade. Of course, I don't know Kixeye's offers that are going to come out. Now, once you have that done, and for the non-PvP players, there are a few things that you're going to want to upgrade. The first one is your Intel Lab. Now, this is going to be super important because it saves you 5, 10, 15% per level. You have 3 levels to go for on every single upgrade time. I do have a little chart, which by the way is linked in the description in a Google Sheets if you're curious at checking this thing out ever in the future. It's in every video I'm going to post. And this does count that all the bonuses you have there. You're most used to the upgrade times on the far right that are really bolded, which are 16 hours for U1, although currently it takes 19 because you're 15% worse. So just keep that in mind. This is the bonuses you're saving. You're saving a ton of time for every single ship, both the regular and the flagships for every level. This is a super important one to get done first. Now, most people would just tell you to upgrade the other labs next, which is true, although there is a specific order I would do them in. First of all, you need to consider what you actually have or do not have built. My ships right now, my purifiers, if I go to them, and by the way, I just released a purifier build video, actually have only the weapons and the specials on there so far. I don't have any of the armors. For that reason, I would take the Intel Lab, well, the Intel Lab first. Second, I would do the Naval Lab because I haven't equipped that. And this is going to give me a 10% bonus. The bonuses for this thing go 10%, 15%, 20%. So you get way more for the first level and it takes less time. I would do one level of the Naval Lab and then do one level of whatever other thing I don't have equipped, which is probably going to be weapons and then specials last. Level 1, level 1, level 1. Then, at this point, it's probably already way past when I've built all my fleet, equipped everything. I would do the most important one of the three next to max. And for most people, this will be the Advanced Lab, because you spend roughly 3.5 days per ship putting on the specials, roughly 2.5 putting on the weapons, and roughly 1.5 putting on the armors. So upgrade the one that is going to have more total time first. So just to recap where we're at right now for PvE players is Outpost, definitely. Doc, well, you really need to do that one. Then Naval 1 level, and then everything else 1 level. Then Advanced to max, Weapons to max, and then the Naval Lab to max. At this point, and by the way, as soon as you get Outpost 14, we should back up a little bit and say you should upgrade your turrets up to level 14. I would probably pick your non-Halo other heavy turrets, such as your decimators and or your hard mount turrets, and upgrade those things for sure. You probably have a bunch of tokens here. If I go into structure tokens, you have 3-day defense platform build tokens. Use those as soon as you get Outpost 14 and complete the TLCs that give you them. You can do those for free before even worrying about your labs here. Do those like really soon. And once all your tokens are exhausted and you've done your labs and stuff like that, you can actually move on next to the, well, actually probably the Retrofit Lab. And again, I'm going to be cheeky and spend 6 coins here just to show you what goes on, even though I'm not using shockwave mortars. This actually brings your repair time down, so it is not that important. If you are a true PvP player, you might want to go for this. Although if you are a PvE player, you're probably going to want to upgrade your Tactical Lab because it does give you bonuses for your PvE ships. It gives you a little bit of evade, which is nice. It's also, interestingly, not too important for the current siege cycle, but it will be important a little bit more in the future. So upgrade this one when you're done with all the labs, and then you can go over to upgrading whatever else you have there. Now, I already talked about the Saw Factory and the Retrofit Lab. Both of those are PvP stuff only, and not really worth spending any coins on. The only other thing, which I'm actually not going to speed up because, well, I don't want to, is the shipyard right here. That does give you bonuses to building damage, which applies to everything, not just Conqueror holes, well, it applies to Conqueror and also all your other holes that do building damage. Upgrading your Conquest Yard to 6, 7, and 8, etc. will give you bonuses. I think it actually only goes to 6. Will give you bonuses to like your brutes, to your purifiers. It will help you and it will give you more building damage for those. For that reason, you may want to use tokens on this if you have any saved, which most people don't, or occasionally visit the shop here because that will give you some build tokens and some Conquest Yard build tokens eventually if that 10% building damage really is that important to you. Alright, so just to recap what you want to do, Outpost has to come first, Dock is next, then for PvP, build your Saw Factory and portals, maybe with an LTO. For PvE, or people who like to do a mix of both, do the Intel Lab, 1 level your Naval Lab, then the 1 level Advanced Weapons, Advanced to max, Weapons to max, Naval to max, and then whatever else is most important to you. whenever you do have tokens for something and can finish it instantly, like for turrets, do those as soon as you possibly can, and there's probably a bunch of TLCs for that. Alright folks, well if you do have any questions on what I presented today, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Until next time, and as always, I want to say thank you to everyone whose name appears on screen now, and well, this is going to be Derpy signing out, making you a better pirate.